adversaries. These guys are sexy and smart.
Welcome back. I'm Mike McBath with Christopher Hart. Chris, I love that lady's voice. Ooh, is she a diva? I mean, or is she just a listener?
No,
this is a diva.
That's our gorgeous lady of wrestling.
I was hoping she's a listener and come up to the next pizza party. So disappointing.
Our pizza party. That's right. Our pizza eating challenge this time.
I mean, we can really have some good women entries into this because a lot of women love pizza.
Sure.
Chris.
Yeah.
And
women, men.
Maybe we could have a craft of wine or two with the side. So if they all of a sudden slowed down, we could just say, well, okay, here's a glass of wine, enjoy yourself, and then have a good day, right?
I don't know about that, but we'll certainly have lots of pizza, that's for sure.
But they make great pizza there. We've always counted on that. And everybody who ate an awful lot loved it, but it was really good.
When Pasquale comes in on Sunday nights, he'll bring one of those large pizzas, and he likes extra garlic on it.
Really?
You can smell it when he's halfway between here and Cafe Positano. We know it's coming. Am I not right, Jeff? He's going, yep.
I love cheese. I would love the cheese on the mushrooms.
Yeah, it's just cheese pizza with lots of garlic on it. Ooh, that's the sweet stuff. All right, we were talking with Rick before the break. I think he's still with us. Rick, are you still on the line?
Yeah.
Let me comment though on even the hedge fund tax. The reason I just say that, Rick, you notice that all the candidates are talking about hedge fund tax. And a lot of people don't even understand it that well.
I don't.
The point is simply this: these hedge fund managers, what happens is when they make a big profit, they take 20% of the profit. That's why I don't like hedge funds. So in other words, let's say in a normal mutual fund, if you made 30%, the manager gets maybe 0.75%, and that's it. But in a hedge fund, he gets his regular management fee plus another 20% or more based upon how the hedge fund is set up. Well, the problem there, this is massive money, and the reason I never liked them is because all you're doing is paying a guy to take major risk with your capital because, if you lose, he doesn't put up 20%. You just lose, buddy.
No.
But the point is, they bring in billions of dollars of profits, and why not tax them if tax bracket is, I'm using an example, is 39, then let's tax them at 39, which is ordinary income. Well, they were taxing them, I think it's 16% or 14%, whatever. Well, they want to stop that, and I am for that. Well, that affects who? Only the rich, in essence. So that is a tax on the rich. But that's a tax that is not, I call, a tax coming from labor.
Pension reform. I never hear you discuss that,
Well,
as part of lowering the deficit, doing something, like the worst congressman ever, Tom Feeney, voted to give himself a tax raise, and then he voted against AIDS. You remember Bush gave some aid to AIDS in Africa?
Yes.
He thought that was wasteful spending, which I thought was foolish.
Yeah.
And he gave himself a pay raise, and I mean, it's why don't they start with themselves?
Well,
I don't think all the American public have no problem with that at all. It's just trying to get it through, right?
Yeah, well,
I'm for it. You don't balance the budget, you don't get paid.
Yeah, well, I just got this from Jerry, our good friend Jerry Shepard and Jerry's Mercedes-Benz service, and he's right. People like to argue over the small line budget items, but it's the big money is in the entitlements, and that's what you were talking about earlier there, Rick, was the entitlement program, Social Security, and of course Medicaid, Medicare. We all talk about debt. The national debt, which is now pretty close to we might as well say $19 trillion.
It's over that right now.
All right, well, well, that's not the worst. The worst is the unfunded entitlements, which are some $180 trillion. In other words, 10 times as much we owe in what they call unfunded liabilities. And that's Social Security, Medicare, and even Medicaid. And so that's where we have a real problem. And this is where economic growth is really the only way to solve that problem. And the beauty of Donald Trump's tax plan and others is that it encourages economic growth. Many economists have looked at his plan and it's going to add $1 trillion a year to the budget deficit. That's if you look at it what's called statically. What the Donald Trump plan would do, and others like it, is it would encourage job growth here in the United States. It would encourage investment capital to come back into the United States. What we need is to grow the economy in a fashion where that $19 trillion doesn't look so big anymore in comparison.
That's why we can get that $2 trillion back and get it to work.
But real quick, Rick, the tax that I am totally against is the corporate income tax. Now, a lot of people would say that, well, you're saying rich people should get it. No. Corporations, the executive of the corporations, they don't pay any of it. The people who buy from the corporation pay that tax. The consumers, us. So why not free that money up? Well, that would free that money up for investment. It would bring money back into this country to build factories and build manufacturing, the manufacturing base back up here. And that also would begin to alleviate the pension problem. The problem we have now is that the economy is stagnated. It's basically not going anywhere. We would almost be better off if it were going down, because at least it would be resetting. But basically, we're just stagnant. It's like a stagnant pond where you get just a bunch of nasty things that come out of it. And it's water, but it's stagnant and it's dirty. And what we need to do is we need to open up the tap, if you will, and flush out the stagnant water with a lot of new capital.
What I don't like, speaking of stagnant water, the Republicans put too much emphasis on it. I have asthma, I have allergies. I want clean water and air. They seem to think clean water and air is going to ruin the economy. The way they talk,
well,
the EPA is not your enemy; it's your friend.
Well,
I just don't like.
Well, but see, there's a balance. You have to strike a balance, and the balance here is: do you want to be cool in the summer and warm in the winter? And that's the balance. And if they're going to shut down power plants, hey man, you'll freeze to death, or you'll die of a heat stroke.
I don't want them to pollute the air either.
Well, we can do it, but we can have both.
How? I never hear the Republicans say how.
Well, but
they keep criticizing the EPA.
No, their solution is market-based solutions rather than government.
Free market will resolve the problem.
Exactly, and so that's where it goes. But Rick, thanks for the call. I appreciate you being out there. Excellent questions as always. Love it. Keep them coming.
Chris, and
don't forget tomorrow, your one question for Barack Obama.
That's right. On the Social Security disability, where it was in a paper the other day that they're out of business next year. Social Security disability. However, they will move funds across. But the problem in Social Security disability, this is part of the Obama redistribution plan.
Of wealth.
You go in, that's exactly right. You go in there and you have really not that bad an injury, and they look at you, and it depends who the workers are that are doing the allocation. There's people running around, they're getting $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. There's nothing wrong with them.
Well, it's become a cottage industry amongst a lot of lawyers.
Right.
To get people on disability once their unemployment compensation runs out. That's where a lot of these people who are not even counted anymore in the jobs numbers, they're not at work.
Right.
They're not living off of anything they have, but they're not on welfare, quote unquote. They're on disability.
And who pays it?
And we do.
Right.
And a lot of them could be working. Now, many of them do deserve it, and that's part of the problem.
Certainly, but you could purge a lot from the rolls.
Exactly. And as you said, the disability part of Social Security is belly up next year.
Right.
And it shouldn't be, except that it's overburdened by people who shouldn't be on it. So the people who should benefit from it, their benefits are now jeopardized. So it's a holy mess. Let's go to Diane. Diane, thanks for calling.
Hey, you guys.
Howdy.
As far as the EPA goes, can we talk about what they did out west to the Indians and the reservation?
You're talking about the spill?
Yeah.
You're talking billions of dollars.
They've ruined they're in poverty as it is. really? The EPA? Yeah, they're not going to be held accountable. I don't want to hear about the EPA.
Yeah, and the thing with the so-called green and renewable energies is that it's a pipe dream. It's pie in the sky.
It's a joke.
Solar is not a clean energy because it takes a lot of nasty stuff to produce solar cells, and they wear out rather quickly. As
You
soon
talk
as
to a fireman, and he doesn't want to go to a house that has solar. Because it's dangerous for them.
Yep, exactly.
And that wind thing, give me a break. Half of them don't even move.
And the startup is, you'll spend more on that energy that, once they have to slow down, then start them up.
They're unreliable.
They're unreliable.
It's